All right, Grand Rising, everyone, everyone, one. Okay, it's Shay Seeking or Shalonda, and we are going to go ahead and look into a couple of things. Again, we're just reading between the headlines, okay? So I have something here on the screen. It says Unfiltered with Dan Bungino or Gino. Breaking news, August 21st, 21. All right. That's just in case I forget to put the, which I will. Okay. The link below. All right. I don't have any. Yeah. So let's just listen to what they're saying today.
Does the president think his immigration plan is working?
Well, the president continues to convey to anyone, as you've said, who wants to come to the United States, now is not the time to come. It is not the time to come and try to go through irregular migrations. We're still at work on and improving a process, improving a system that was very broken when we took office.
Okay. So again, he's saying anybody that wants to come, right? Y'all thinking I'm crazy, all right? Anybody that wants to come, right? It's not good to start an immigration or migration process, all right? So again, let's look at immigration, to immigrate, okay? Migration into a place, especially migration to a country of which you are not a native or order to settle there, okay? So the thing is, some of us are. I am. So by man's law or law of nature or natural law? Naturally, right? Naturally, right? Being the soil or the earth. Primitive. And we're using United States, which is the corporation or that 10-mile radius, right? Right? But I digress. Right? And then also when we're saying that just made me think something about status and what status people are really claiming that work within that vicinity, right? And maybe status has been a reason why many of the indigenous original people have not been able to be in office there. But again, we're manifesting here. We speak things into existence, or I do. Some people, by order of source, have the right, so-called, right, to proclaim these things with your mouth. Okay? The body of immigrants arriving during a specified interval. Okay? So again, let's look at immigrate. To pass into a place as a new inhabitant or resident, especially to move to a country where one is not a native. So again, she said migration and immigrate, okay? So again, to pass into a place as a new inhabitant or resident, especially to move into a country where one is not native, okay? And again, native just means that, what? I want to get the words correct. Natural or inborn, okay? So again, you haven't been washed, okay? But again, natural, inborn, heredity. And I'm wondering when it comes to heredity, like I'm going to go back and look at Washington, George Washington. And another name came up that I want to look at is George Washington Bruton. I want to know who that is. And what do they have any kinship to Washington? George Washington. Which makes me think of Washington Carver. Which reminds me of a tomb for some reason. And he was a mysterious man. Native born in raw, unspoiled, and directly Latin innate birth. Be born. Okay. So again, beget, right? But again, are some of these people sons of some of the little g gods of this earth that would be those that would be in those seats over the test of time, right? In that White House, all right? To procreate in familial and tribal groups. And then they have gene here to refer to the root gene. Again, we're talking gene, genuses, possibly. Anyways, to beget, all right? Sanskrit, beget, offspring, child, person, birth, born. They bear. To become, happen, race, birth, offspring, stock. To beget, okay? Descent, procreative, again, that's what we just said. Divinity of divine, right? Nature. A tutelary spirit. Okay, let's see. This is I'm just reading off some of the things. I'm not going to sit here and read the whole thing. You can do that on your own. But what my thing is, okay, so it says class, sort, variety, friendly, deliberately doing good to others. Okay, so again, gene can also be class, sort, variety, friendly, deliberately doing good to others. Again, we would say that we do that here on this platform, right? The same parents or grandparents, okay, with child. Oh, okay. So again, that makes me think about Mary, because that whole thing with George Washington and Mary, I can't remember the last name. I did a video on it a while back about that connection, again, which I felt was close to, when I was doing my genealogy, was close to some things. But everything is like parallelly run. You know what I'm saying? Like the different ways of the attachment, right, throughout that time, and the records that were kept. Let's see. Activists. Okay, let's see. Native American to Aboriginal peoples, American. Okay, devoted to Indian education. So again, if you're devoted to Indian education, then doesn't that make you Native? In early 1970, activist Indians began calling themselves Native Americans. Okay, let's see, because we do know that the rights of the civil rights of Indians, or I'm not sure if they use Native or Indians when it came to king. Let's see. So again, this makes me think also something about having to be, get the antidote is what they're trying to do. But that's not, I don't think that that is like protocol. I think that that's for some of us anyway. Okay. Let's see, civil rights, class rights protect individuals. Okay, let's see. Okay, so I'm noticing this, right? So again, it did say defiled, right? So again, what they're trying to say is again that at this point, they just let the shoe fall when it came to, we're just using this situation. We're just correlating things, right? We're symbolically, right, or allegorically, okay? When we're talking about Afghan taking over the cabal or being invading or whatnot, okay? So again, or the capital, right? Being insurrected, right? So again, when we see that somebody just pulled away and allowed some things to happen, you wonder if spiritually that's what's going on right now when it comes to the Capitol or the dome or the minds, again, of some of us, including me. And so they let that ball drop so that that can happen, so that then they can claim that this cannot happen, right? That someone cannot move into a place or sit down with someone like King sat down with them, right? In order to do this, to speak about things, okay? So let's see, it says, let's read some of this here. Let's see. Where did it just go? Wait, in federal law, it says Indian tribal governments cannot pass or enforce laws and violate certain individual rights. Boom, 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 boom. Let's keep going. Wait, complete text, Indian civil rights, because that, but I'm looking for the, okay, here it is, the Indian Civil Rights Act of 1968. Okay, so they just say Civil Rights Act, but they don't talk about the Indian Civil Rights Act. Let's see. Where was I just at? I just seen it, what I wanted to look at. Full access to the United States Bill of Rights. Let me see. Where did it go? Let's just go here. No, that's going to irritate me. Hold on. Okay. I can't find it. And I just had the perfect thing to explain it. Right to free speech, press, and assembly. Protection from unreasonable invasions of home. Right of criminal defendants. I'll go civil rights of Native Americans in the United States, Native American citizens of their respective native nations, as well as the United States. Those nations characterized under United States law as domestic dependent nations, a special relationship that creates a tension between the rights retained via tribal sovereignty. So again, there's a difference from being sovereign and sovereignty, and rights that individual natives have. So again, so they do individual natives, again, but we're claiming being original, which will be before native, before that term. So again, we're talking about Aboriginal or again autochthonous peoples. Uniformly granted U.S. citizenship. So again, attention today, but was far more extreme before Native people were uniformly granted U.S. citizenship in 1924. Assorted laws in the politics of the United States government, some traces of the pre-revolutionary colonial period, denied basic human rights, particularly in the area of cultural expression and travel to indigenous people. Okay, all right, now we're getting somewhere. Because, indigenous is before native. So we got autochthonous, Aboriginal, we say original, or regiones, okay? The earth is there as well in your concordance as people, right? Because when God made the heavens and the earth, so again, the earth was already there. It just wasn't formed yet by them. So they did not have a hand in on it first. The earth was just what it was, and what they thought was a chaotic mass, which they think, again, when we're talking about the breath of God or COVID, I didn't want to say it, or the nothing today. So just like that, which is what is we really talking about, is being targeted. It's the same way, again, they can make you feel disease towards a certain individual. So again, now this attack, which could possibly just be they're concerned about someone having access to intel when it comes to the Capitol or the Dome, right? But again, did somebody drop the shoe just to make sure that that defilement will happen, so then they can block us? It would seem as if it was unclean to come in. You know, I'm just saying, are we talking about this from another standpoint? So again, they made it harder at some point in time for people to become Native or Indians, right? Due to adding DNA tests. But when it comes to some of those DNA tests, we're talking about, again, them testing the people that are the latter of the original people. So they're not testing you against original people. They're testing you against natives, which, again, some of us were here prior to that term, or the groups that they call native, okay? Yes, you might share a bloodline, you might share familial ties with these individuals, right? Okay. All right. So again, it's going into all kind of stuff here, but you can do that on your own. 1585 to 1786 initial meeting. Okay, in 1585, an American Indian tribe in the eastern coast of North America made contact with explorers Richard Grenville. The native tribal folk proved hospitable and received to Greenville, yet when no native stole a small silver cup from him, Greenville sacked and burned down the entire village in revenge. So again, this is like, oh, see, now this is that energy that I'm talking about. Attacked and tried to bring down the whole capital, right? Defile it, you know, again, however, someone gets information or intel, right? And then they also start to, again, degrade a royal, right? In a sense, okay? Someone of a royal bloodline. Make it look as if, you know, your work is hateful, to vilify, like we've talked about here recently. Okay? But again, same thing what we're talking about. Prove hospitable. I think that's what they were trying to do, is prove that I was hospitable. And that's possibly why the surveillance was going on. So again, James or I Am's town, right? I know, again, there are connections, like I said, with familial ties with that area and possibly that family when it comes to the Stewarts. Okay? Because again, I feel like at some point in time, we're talking about that stuff as if everything happened with Queen Mary and Queen Elizabeth and things over there. But I really have a real idea that, again, that's that whole way of showing something, talking in parables or allegorically, when we're talking about something else that was actually occurring here when it comes to some of the kingdoms, in my opinion. And I think some of those people, maybe even when they said that they died, right, they actually didn't. They deported them or sent them, again, over here to start over, right? So to escape persecution, right? So again, what did Mary, Queen of Scots, die there, or was she brought here? Was Charlotte brought to the Americas when we're talking about Charlottesville, North Carolina, right? Was Elizabeth, when we're talking about Elizabeth town, or when we're talking about even the lakes and stuff, even in Wisconsin and stuff that are named after those sisters? I mean, this sounds the same, like the same thing. Like I said, when it's coming to this whole thing, that somebody dropped the ball. He actually dropped the ball in order to let that happen, so that then, again, this would not be able to happen. But again, things change. So again, depressed economics, water source. Again, the water is also talking about, like we always say, maritime law. It's just really basic and simple when you break it down. That's the maritime families. They even talk about maritime families here in the Living Bible. Okay. So again, to remove the water, that would be removing also admiralty law, right? That would be removing that of the air, right? The planes that they're talking about, the drones, that's flying above, that's watching over, right? So yeah, I feel like, yeah, we're talking about this, something that somebody actually did, right? To make it seem some kind of way so that then an attack can happen, right? I mean, this is just really, hold on. Okay, we have this part here. I looked up civil rights Indian, and it said it is a federal law. It says that Indian tribal governments cannot pass and enforce laws that violate certain individuals. Congress adopted the ICRA to make sure that tribal governments respect basic rights of Indians and non-Indians. Let's see if this is where we were at first. No, it wasn't. No, this wasn't either. I really need to find that. Okay, one of the major issues surrounding land ownership rights of the Native American nations is the purpose for which they are and are not allowed to use their land. Okay, but we also know that land also is talking about the other half. Okay, let's go back. Hold on. Let's go back. Okay, so the land. Land, okay? Again, my name, for some reason, it's Shalonda, right? But I don't know, my mom used to spell it with the O. And I changed it myself with the A. Ground soil, also a definite portion of the earth's surface, a definite portion of the earth's surface. So again, this is reminding me of a prophecy that was spoken of the Mother Earth's consciousness by Chief Oren, okay, in 2008. And it's very prophetic as to what is going on now. He is truly a prophet in my eyes. And he is talking about the instances. It's like almost he's telling my life, dude, when I'm listening to it. I mean, it's just, you can find it on YouTube. I found it last night. I kind of fell asleep though, before I can watch it. So again, this whole movement of bringing the Bible into the Americas was a thing that, like I said, I started years ago, 8 to 10 years ago. And again, I feel like it grew very fast. And I'm not saying I was the only one at that time, but again, this channel I feel was the most prominent, and this platform on Facebook was the most prominent when it came to linking that actually word for word with instances in the Bible, with wars and things with the same amount of deaths and everything, just proving the fact that this is the Holy Land, put it like that. That the old world is being spoken of in the Old Testament. And when we go back to the book of Amos, I think that was one of the first books that woke me up, along with the book of Kings. Again, Amos is another name that is in my particular family. Again, we are our ancestors to a certain extent. All right? Not saying that other people don't have that. We're just talking about what I've obtained over time with this information that brought me here today, okay? To be giving you this information like we're doing, okay? Home region of a person or people, territory marked by political boundaries, okay? So again, a territory marked by political boundaries. So again, that's also making me think about a marked man or marked woman, meaning that these people have been paying attention to you for a very long time, right? And this whole thing, like I said, oh, that's what it was. Something about not being able to build together was what I was looking at with the civil rights. And it's the same thing like we were just talking about, that it seems as though, right? Like I said, when it comes to this spiritually or behind the scenes, it seems like all that stuff I felt during this time, that it was a distraction. Things were going on around where somebody was trying to take me away from my thought process, my original thought process, and my original way. Okay. So again, that's called an attack to me. And again, it's an attack on soil. And as they want to claim that some people are terrorists, domestic terrorists, I'm wondering who the real terrorists are. Okay. The open land, the heath. Okay. Old Irish land. Okay. And then we have here Breton. Iron Heath. Let's see. What else we see here? Earth. Okay. Leyland expression, American for land's sake. Ephemeral for Lord. Land is ephemeral for Lord. Okay. Originally of ships, fish, okay, to obtain. Okay, the land on which real estate is located. Land, material on top layer of the surface of the earth in which plants can grow, especially with reference to its quality or use. So again, that brings me back to that whole matriarchal, again, us being those old G's or whatever from that time. And again, being that material that is also mixed with that top soil, right? Which would be, and if we're talking about plants, we're talking about that which was planted or grafted into family trees and lines, okay? Because again, you were already here, right? You were already, some of you were already, your family was already here. And actually those people came in and grafted into those lines. So if we're going all the way back, then what are these laws right now, especially if things are not working out properly? Solid part of the earth's surface, domain which is something. So again, they want to use, again, laws or lies in a sense, because that's also what it means in etymology, in order to, it's an allusion to God, right? Because what source deals with nature, that which is the law of nature or natural law, not man's law. He actually speaks against it in a sense, right? One of these gods in the biblical text, right? The people who live in a nation or a country. So even politically organized. So again, land in another way, okay, is a politically organized body of people under a single government. So again, this is reminding me of, again, those of them that are in the community that have been put there, again, or planted there, like we're talking about plants, or hung from a tree, like if you see what I'm saying? To hang that strange fruit, possibly, from a tree. Yeah, because agriculture has to do with colonization and building and birthing of nations as well. Let's see. Okay, so immigration 1650, from immigrate collectively, short immigrate authorities, migration into a place, especially migration into a country of which you are not. Okay, we already did this one, I think. All right, so a body of immigrants arriving during a specified interval. That's interesting. Okay, immigrate to pass into a place as a new inhabitant or resident. Again, the resident we're talking about is the White House or, in that vicinity, right? Even to, visit, right? Especially to move to a country where one is not native. Okay, we already did this. No, we didn't. Wait, settling permanently there. Okay, so again, it's almost reminding me of "In Christ will reign forever." Okay, 1620. To remove, to go into, to move in. So again, there's this big talk about, why didn't we just evacuate the people before they came in, right? So symbolically, what are we talking about? If we're talking about something that's going on in this particular land, and allegorically, right? Okay, then why let them invade that capital or that embassy, right? That's my thing. Why leave like that and just leave it like that so that the invasion can happen if we were talking about something else? Because everybody's saying that's ridiculous how it happened. All that time spent there, and then we're just going to leave it to be spoiled, to that energy, it would have just took a exit plan, right? To get those out and then get the others out and then, right? But then now we leave the weapons, we leave the tools there. They left the tools there or here in order for other people to use them. See? And so then, so now it's what? So this is just, and this is just the way I see things. Everybody thinks differently. Everybody's mind is differently. You can't tell me what's going on in my mind. I can't tell you what's going on in yours. I can't tell you why, but there are wonders, again, that are happening on this plane right now, and it's been prophesied. All right? And believe me, they know already about it. So again, the surveillance didn't just start. It's always been there. It's always been there. It's just now it's gotten to the hand of the earth. And the earth, other portions of earth or indigenous people chose to use that information however they got it in order to spread it around and use it for currency, right? Possibly on some of these websites, as a backdoor to see in, right? And only somebody knows how extent, I think I know how extent the invasion has been, right? It doesn't matter. It's somebody's privacy. So again, now that the earth joined with the earth, there's going to be war between the earth. There's going to be war against that is original here. And it's going to be a war since those that are actually, considered indigenous, but maybe their ties tie them back to other places. And again, like I said, when people have a lot of land in patents, they had to get it from those other people, that the women, which means men, women, and children, okay, groups of people that came into this land for whatever reason, or were already here and were taken in as prisoners of war, or Slavic or slaves, so-called, right? But now we know it wasn't many of us, right? That from so-called Africa, which some of that was North Africa, by way of them coming into South America and then coming up the coast into the Americas. Because Columbus didn't come to the Americas, he went to the islands. Okay? Purpose of settling permanently there. Okay? To move in. Okay? To move. Okay? Migrate to a new environment, introduce in as immigrant, come into the new country and change residency. Okay? All right, hold on a second.
The people are trying to do the right thing.
The incredible irony of this failed president attacking the governor of Texas, Greg Abbott, about his handling of coronavirus at their border in Texas while promoting open borders himself. Oh, I mean, if this doesn't get under your skin, nothing ever will. Also, how disturbing to attack the governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, who's had a relatively good track record in his handling of the coronavirus in his state, my home state of Florida. How do I know that? Because I believe in this thing called numbers. Here it is, Florida. Listen, every death is tragic, folks, no doubt.
And that's the thing, that I saw energy, and I haven't gone back to her platform. And I think she might be from Florida. And again, at this time, they're protecting. And I think that, again, some of these people were used to attack spiritually me. It was a strong energy there, right? And as soon as I bring something up about it, then all this whole thing about Florida come up and how he gonna protect and everything like this. But there's nobody protecting the Capitol. Because again, these are idols that they plan on using in order to overtake. So, and he said something about being the strongest or something at that point in time. So yeah, when it comes to witchcraft and sorcery, possibly, and I'm not trying to be rude or anything, but again, the mixture of the individuals that are in that land have more closer ties to their cultural, right, in their ways of using natural things, or even when it comes to witchcraft, in a sense, right? So they still, that state is full of individuals that would have that type of spiritual power, okay? But again, he's protecting. The Capitol is not being protected. And these people are using some of these people, right? So again, I think he feels like what he has is strong enough to come against the breath of God. Spiritually, now. They talking politics, we talking spirituality here. We're talking about seers and oracles and people and Gnostics right now in this day. It makes no sense. It makes no sense.
That's per capita for 100,000 people? They rank 25th. Who's at the top? New Jersey and New York City. And
Okay.
Massachusetts, by the way.
Okay.
New Jersey and New York City.
Okay, so again, I know that this is what they're talking about, but it's just reminding me of something. That again, I feel like, okay, people within our community, right? When we're talking New York, when we're talking about Georgia, and when we're talking about Florida. The reason why I brought those up is because those are the states where I feel that they are holding or they have, right, energies, again, to combat against the capital. We're talking spirit, they talking something else, reminding me of what I see spiritually. It's war. And as we go on, these people are excelling, and their word is being stretched out far, where mine is being suppressed and given just to the top in the heavens here on the earth when it comes to the governing forces, right? So they know how to then use it against me. Certain elevated sources, right? And then again, given to leaked into the community through other people that are in this community with us that are climbing to the top, and they're free to be not burdened. They're free to not be surveillance. They're free to do these things. Their platforms are opened up. Okay? All right? Slowly but surely, right? I'm good with timelines, right? But but again, some of these people have been caught also utilizing information from this platform. So while they're on the move doing the footwork and doing all that other stuff, I have to be here correcting these things and bringing things out of the dirt. And it seems easy because, again, that's just what I'm doing. I don't have to do the footwork. But I'm the capital. Why should I? I'm being fed by source. They're being led by man. Why should I? I'm going to sit here and do what source tell me to do. And it's going to be reconciled. So they want to have some kind of study or they want to have something? Okay. All right. All right. I don't know, I just was thinking about Inspector Gadget and PI. Again, since we see what it is now, right? Okay. So again, we were back at the head of state, right? Yeah, controlling the supply of fuel. So again, the essence, they're controlling how much we can give. If it goes this way in that direction, we'll cut you off even more. We'll deal with your internet. We'll deal with your phone service. We'll deal with, the way that you can communicate to make sure that you can. We want to be in control, right? And like I said, it's people just like it was when it came to King in his circle, just like it came when it came to X in his circle. It's always been the same thing. They have the people that are planted there again. Close enough to be the ones that can also then try and take that person out. And again, with all this spell work and all this energy, I can feel it and I can see it like coming towards me. Even, but I think it's slowed down a lot more now. I think that, again, the ancestors and source and guide is here like, hold on. Hold on at this point. I mean, that's just what I see. And the more I just cut off and go within, and it's no offense to, I feel bad sometimes, but I got to figure it out. And I go against the grain. I don't do it the way other people do it. It's hard to be bendable and pliable. I have to know, again, that you for me. And if you're not for me, then I don't want nobody around me. And I don't want nobody sending nobody's energy and linking people to me when I haven't allowed it. And that's the thing that irritates me the most. That's the thing that's pissing me off the most. I already know what I want to do, and that's just what it is. Do I feel like sometimes it was maybe negative energy at one point, but there was something that changed? Yes. Because again, people wake up. They realize that something is not wrong, and then what happened is the same thing we had to do to get to the point where we are today. Actually, I respect somebody that does that more than anything. That sees that there's something wrong and then decides to turn something around and try to do something to save the day. In a sense, I can look at somebody and respect somebody like that and look at them as a savior. I can respect them and I can look at them as a savior more than I could any other people. That can admit that they did something real messed up. But they also a part of helping you, right? So I think that's it. We just wanted to point out that. I mean, I'm not going to listen to this whole thing. I don't even want to listen to it no more. What I wanted to do was just see how we looking at this. And what are we really talking about? Yes, I think something was supposed to go a little bit smoother. Something was supposed to be happening. But it's all a plan to make you give away some part of yourself that would be a control or something for them to be able to. And again, when it came to everything, nothing is fazing me. Whatever you did, whatever you said, whatever's around, whatever people know, oh well, enjoy it. That's not me. It made me, but it's not me. So again, just like anybody else that would be upset if somebody was taking their material and using it, when it comes to music, when it comes to anything else, there would be some kind of something back. So reparations for me is cut the nonsense, give me what I need, let's get it moving. That's how I feel. Like, what are we sitting here even playing around about? See, what's happening is that the whole secret part of it, right, is being exposed. So again, just like Source said, he's going to make whatever they're talking about look foolish. He's going to bring somebody from the bottom to make that look foolish, and they're going to reign forever. And again, what we always talk about on here is we bring in order to the court. It's time to wake, realize, and rise to the occasion. And I think that it's really ridiculous if they already know why we sitting here. Why would you want me to even have to go through that when we going through all this stuff here? When the nation is falling down to the ground. Even if it's a internship or something that grows into something, why can't we sit down at some time? It's obvious that some of us got the keys. And with direct communication, that things can be fixed instead of them just funneling out in what they want, right? Same thing with the earth, the physical earth. Still mining, still digging, still tearing shit up. Well, if you want to heal the earth, you got to start with their children. And you got to start with not attacking the earth and not sinning in again. Using these tools in order to affect. So it's not the earth per se when it comes to climate change and global warming and the earth's core heating up. That has to do with us. It has to do with me. It has to do with something that is within us now. And it just didn't heat up overnight, and it didn't just heat up because of some silly thing. They already know what it is. Things cannot stand the way they were. So when we start talking about it had to fall, what happened? I think people were even talking about like the fall of the cabal at one point in time, until all these channels started getting wiped out. A change gonna come. The change is here. We just got to get things done. We just got to stop doing whatever it is and put the proper things in place. If you don't start with the root, you got to go back. Yeah, you can choose the hanging fruit or the fruit that's been tied to the tree. But it's not nothing like the real thing. So again, they're letting America be overrun by idols when it comes to that particular energy. But again, the first shall be the last, so we'll see. And if nobody's doing the proper things, what are the proper things? What are the proper things? Why say that there's proper things and they're not proper things? Why be in the Capitol mining and causing disturbance instead of showing the earth what to do? But they showed others what to do, right? Somebody's been helping these others. And the same individuals are flooding in more groups. And just because they look like us, the other groups are okay with that. Because it's going to flood out again the original. It's just something about the spirit and the soul of a man and a woman. Something like people can't think that if they're not seers that can see that thing that's on your back. The thing that knows that you act all anti, just like they said on the news the other day. These groups act, I think it was Tucker Carlson, I think, that said you act like it's anti-white, but those are the very people that are fueling those entities. That some of them are in your community. And you'll probably know who they are because those will be the people that are spreading those lies or, again, defiling, or also those will be the ones that will be thinking that it's funny or a joke to talk about people or to exploit people that so-called look like them. Or talk against one group, whether it's autochthonous, indigenous, native, whatever. Because native is what was there before their ancestors came here from Germany and tied in with native and indigenous populations. Because I said, the more land you got, the more your people was involved in the taking down of mine here in the Americas. And it's replaying right now today. When you follow the timeline, it don't matter what people have to say about the native portion. They were here before it was the earth or indigenous, the earth, autochthonous, indigenous, right? And then native. And then those that are full reign, right? Because they was brought here to reign. Everything was kind of like peaceful then. And then they brought the others in full reign, the other earth that looks like you. And like I said, they're going to be the ones with the most land. In patents. It may laugh at people that don't have patents because those people are the original people and they didn't fight against the Americas to get that land. So I'm saying we all got parts in our family. I'm pretty sure on some side I got some, you know what I'm saying? I know this. But there's difference between people that have had that silver spoon when it comes to those type of things in their life throughout that time, and those of us that had to go to source and go within to gather this information and bring it to the people. There's a difference. And then at some point in time, those people connect with the indigenous people and take the information or copycat in order for them to be idols or placed over those heads of state. And that's just what it is. That's what it's been, and that's what they're trying to do now. So, I think that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed. Right? So again, we're still dealing with the energies of our ancestors, both good and bad. Some of my ancestors be wanting me to go all the way ham. Some want to be more docile. So it's about that warrior energy, that Sekhmet energy, which was an American lioness. They want to laugh about the whole thing about ancient Egypt and America and stuff, because that's what's going to lead you all the way back to the truth and your roots and that what's within you, right? Right? So they'll stay at the stuff that's at the surface. When it comes to politics, they don't go down there again for what? Because that's what's behind them, fueling them. So again, these people know so much about you because they've been given access. They're under their universities. And they've been given access to your information. And they've used it improperly. And this is why, again, we have to be very cautious when it comes to, like I said, and I'm going to say it again, a lot of these places that didn't have so many murders and stuff going on. And we don't even talk about murders and stuff no more. We just talk about Afghan on the news. Right? So we're not even talking about that. So you don't even realize how many people are probably being wiped out again, right? For their land and for their inheritance again, because people are really well vetted in using that type of information to obtain information about certain people. You better recognize, I told you before, you got more chance losing your life to somebody that look like you than not. That's where that greed, envy, strife, and all that shit comes in. And you could tell me when you feel like you found somebody that's speaking like I'm speaking to you. That's that energy, like the Satan or the devil that's looking to see who he or she can consume. Because they just want more. Something is not enough. More fashion, more this, more that. So they talk about people like that don't really pay attention to fashion and all that other stuff, that don't shop, may not have that much money. Jesus didn't have no money. Christ didn't have no money. The time has come. It's here. It's here. Things are being, that's what you call a prophet. So you can call a prophet, or you can, a so-called prophet, okay? Or you can call them crazy. But many people know what the truth is. And they might as well go and hide in the rocks too. Because whatever they sending over here is going right back tenfold. Anyways, I'll see you guys later. Take care.